ready when you are.
All right, before I begin, I just want to say, obviously this is my opinion, and you don't have to agree with me, but just know you're wrong. Okay, I'll start by saying I'm a firm believer in natural selection, Natural selection is survival of the fittest, The same way I'm a big fan of free market capitalism. Free market capitalism is the same thing. It's survival of the fittest. Whatever works, works. Whatever doesn't, doesn't. But then on the other side of the spectrum, you have something called socialism. And socialism to me is like communism with a winky face, right? So basically how socialism works is the government takes all your money and decides how it gets divvied up, which is a good system if it's just that, but you can't slap socialism on top of a free market capitalist society. It doesn't work, right? What you end up getting is this huge income gap where you got all the wealth being held by a small amount of people and then the rest of us trying to fight for what's left. So I despise socialism, right? To me, it's a disease of pandering to the weak. It leads to a society of goats with no motivation and an overwhelming sense of entitlement. And honestly, I feel helpless as I watch it take over my country. I mean, look at Ontario. Ontario's implementing a program called the Basic Income Plan. And basically how this works is they want you to have so much money each month. So say you're working a part-time job where you take home $1,500 a month, and they want you to have $3,000, the government will write you a check for that other $1,500. So you're up to $3,000. But I would argue, what's the incentive to work? If the government's willing to give me a check to sit at home for $3,000, why am I going to work for $1,500 in minimum wage? You know what I mean? So I, for one, am tired of having my money taken and decide how it gets spent. Last year, the average Canadian spent 42% of their income in taxes. 42%. That's more than clothing, food, and shelter combined. Just to put it in perspective. And the worst part to me is that they're not only taking all this money, they take and take and take, and then somehow manage to run a deficit. Our country's $1 trillion in debt right now. Every year, they just keep taking and taking and taking, and then just pulling money out of their ass and handing it out to people. And the problem with this is that money doesn't exist. It's not even there. So by handing out money that doesn't exist, they're enslaving you because you can't pay it back. It's not there, right? So you're forever enslaved by your own government. So what's the solution? Honestly, I don't know. I've put a lot of thought into it. I wish I did have a solution for you, but the problem is you can't backstep socialism. You start handing out things to people, you can't take it back. You look at Trump right now, you know what I mean? Like, he's trying to roll back some of the Obama handouts. And what happens? Just the outrage, the outcry. Like, what about me? What about my insurance? You know what I mean? It makes me sick. It really does. And then at the same time, it's like, who do you think owns the media? Who owns the radio? That 1%. And it benefits them to keep pushing these socialist views because they know it's a rigged system. They know it's benefiting the rich. As long as they keep slapping all these socialist views on top of capitalism, it's just making them more wealthy. So you turn on the TV and what do they show? It's like, oh, this person's losing their insurance. We got to help these people. We got to do this. Give us more of your money. Give us more of your money. At what point are they just going to take every dollar we make and we're just going to walk around going, I don't need no money because my master takes care of me. No, that's slavery to me. So in closing, I do actually have a solution, but it's more of a dream, really. Seems the solution is obvious, but if I was Trump, I would come out and I'd say, you know what? Healthcare is now an incentive to work hard and succeed in your life. Natural selection, survival of the fittest. Thank you. Was that recording?
What?
Was it recording?
Yeah,
Because I hit record.